everyone, I'm Leaf and welcome to my YouTube channel. And have you been feeling art blocked lately? Or you just want an excuse to draw some of your OCs? Well, good, because in this video, I will show you 3 challenges to use with your characters to hopefully spark some inspiration for you guys. So, let's get drawing. For our first challenge, we will be drawing from a base. I chose this one on Pinterest. I just really liked it. I thought it was super cute and it matched the personalities of 3 of my characters really well. But you can choose any base with any amount of characters. This is a really fun challenge and a really simple one to warm up with. It's really nice because you don't have to think about the posing of your characters, just the expression and their outfits, which I really enjoy. I think this is way more fun than just drawing from a reference picture because some of these bases get so funny and so creative. When I was younger, I would almost exclusively draw from these bases, which is not great. When you're learning how to draw, you should definitely be looking off of real life reference pictures, but these types of bases are really good for character scenarios and helping to show more personality rather than just anatomy and their design. Which is nice because I'm really bad at coming up with my own character scenarios, so having a base to work off of is really helpful for me. Just a heads up for the rest of this video, I'm trying to try out some new editing styles for my time lapses because I don't know, sometimes my time lapses get a little bit crazy and I'm trying to make them a little bit more watchable. So along with 3 different challenges, I am trying 3 different editing styles for my time lapses. So I would really appreciate it if you let me know which one you like. For example, this editing style, it's a lot slower, not sped up as much, but I'm cutting out a lot of the drawing process. So that's what this one is. In case you were wondering why my time lapses are a bit different in this video, that's why. Anyway, back to drawing. I couldn't quite decide on how I wanted their outfits to look. At first, I should probably say, I'm drawing my characters Lauren, Himi, and Aurora. I forgot to mention that, but that's who they are. But at first I was struggling to decide what outfits to put them in, because at first I was just gonna do their normal outfits, but with all the upper layers gone, so just their most basic clothes. But eventually I landed on the idea of putting them in pajamas, which I think is so cute because this base just looks like a sleepover. So that's what I went with. I was super happy that I went that direction because it made the entire piece so much more cozy. And as you can see here, I decided to go for a very warm, desaturated color palette because I think it looks really nice. And for the shading, I just put a multiply layer with this light brown and then erased where some of my shadows were going to be. At first, I wasn't going to do a background or anything since it's just a base drawing challenge. You don't really have to add backgrounds to those. But I was thinking the piece was looking a little bit plain, so here is my background blockout. I decided to put them in this yellow autumn field. I just thought it was really cute. You do not have to add a background if you don't want to for these challenges, but I'm just extra like that and had to add a background, but you don't have to. I was enjoying this piece too much. I was completely in the zone with this drawing. I was having such a great time, which is good because that is the point of these challenges. But I have to say my favorite part of this entire drawing was definitely rendering out all the folds in the clothing. Since they were all in such baggy outfits, there was a lot of folds and wrinkles in these clothes that I had to draw. And I was having so much fun with it. Guys, one thing you gotta know about me, I love drawing clothing folds. It's just so fun and it makes the drawing look so good. And I was using this red color to shade the clothes with, just because that was my line art color. So I was just having a great time. This piece is like everything I love in drawing. And after I rendered the characters, I moved on to working on the background a little bit, since it was looking kind of rough, because I just did a quick mock-up in the beginning to like get a feel for it, but it needed a lot of help. For this background, I primarily used my round mixing brush, which is my favorite brush in all of Clip Studio Paint. It's a default one, so you don't have to pay for it, and it's just really nice. Y'all should all try it out. It's like super good. And I also used my Bush brush from Mark Brunette's beginner brush pack. It's free as well on his shop, so it's a great brush pack. I definitely recommend it. I use it for a lot of my drawings, especially when I need some texture brushes, since Clip Studio's texture brushes are a bit iffy, I gotta say. Not a huge fan of the Clip Studio default like charcoal brushes and stuff, so if you are looking for a more textured brush, I would definitely get Mark Brunette's brush pack. Wow, take a drink every time I say brush. You'll be very hydrated. But after I rendered most of the background, I thought this guy was looking a little bit empty, so I decided to add this arch thing in the background, because my world is full of weird little landmarks, so it helps to show that it's not just a random field, it's a field in my world, Anyway, that's the finished drawing, so let's move on to the next challenge. For our next challenge, all you need to do is grab a screenshot you really like from a video game or a movie or a TV show, just any screenshot you really like the composition of or you really like the poses of, and replace the people with your characters. For my screenshot, I chose this iconic one from Breath of the Wild. I really love this screenshot. I don't know, I just really like the way they're posed, so I wanted to draw my characters into this one. Also, funny enough, this kind of setting and pose really does fit the story of my characters as well, so that's a huge plus. And because the screenshot matched the story of my two characters, I decided to use this as an excuse to draw some new outfits for them that they would have worn in this type of situation. Especially Lauren, her normal outfit would not work in this setting, and I'd imagine she'd look different at the start of my story anyway, so I was excited to try and draw this outfit for her. It's one of those situations where the design has been bouncing around inside my skull for a long time, but I've never actually drawn it down, so yeah, I use this as an excuse to finally draw the design I was thinking about. I find redrawing screenshots so much fun because it can help teach you a lot about composition, since all of these screenshots came from professional studios. That's kind of what they're thinking about when they make poses like this. But it also helps when studying like an art style. Obviously, my art style does not look anything like the Breath of the Wild style, but it's fun using this type of study to learn about how they color or how they do their environments and stuff. So I decided to go for this warmer color palette, since the screenshot from Breath of the Wild also has that kind of warmer coloring to all of it. I really love the way they shaded all the models in Breath of the Wild. All the lighting is so pretty, and I really like how warm and bright the whole game is. It's really cool, and I definitely want to start using colors like that in my own art. There's nothing wrong with stealing something you really like from an art style and putting it into your own. Anyway, I was struggling a lot with certain parts of this pose, especially Hezzy's feet position and Lauren's legs in relation to her torso. I don't know, I didn't fix it till the very end, but I think Lauren looks a bit tilted. Surprisingly though, I think I did a pretty good job on this dude laying dead in the background. this pose is kind of tricky, but you know, I think it came out pretty good. I didn't really put too much detail into his outfit since he's just supposed to be like an enemy that Lauren defeated, but I changed up the background just a little bit from the Breath of the Wild one since I don't want to copy, obviously, and I was using this as concept art for my story, so you know, needed to change it up a little bit. I made the entire environment way more yellow than it is in Breath of the Wild. In Breath of the Wild, it's very muted, which helps the characters stand out a lot, but I like using a lot of bright colors in my art, so had to bump up the saturation a little bit. And in the background, you can see a little block out for this massive city that I'm gonna put in later. I have this kind of concept that the capital city in the desert is in this like biosphere and it's like an oasis on the inside. So that's what that is. Here I'm just adding in my base colors, and I don't know why I made Hezy's hair such a light brown. Right here it's supposed to be way darker, but it took me a little bit to notice that. I mean, it looks so much better darker. I don't know why I made it so light the first time. Anyway, as I'm cleaning up my drawing here, I just want to say thank you guys for watching this far into the video. I just want to say I love hanging out with you guys, and it means a lot to me that you guys listen to me yap for 20 minutes straight. I really enjoy making these videos, and I'm glad you're enjoying them too. So if you managed to get this far, I'm sorry to say this, but it would mean a lot if you hit the subscribe button and the like button. Since I'm such a small artist, literally every subscriber, every like really helps my channel grow, and you know, it just shows me that y'all do like this video. But on a lighter note, it is that time in every one of my videos where I tell you what emoji to put in your comments. Just helps me know who's paying attention, you know? And for this week's emoji, it's going to be... It's getting hard to remember which ones I've already used before. I think the lotus flower emoji, like the one on the lily pad, I don't know, I think it's really pretty. So use that one. I like it. Anyway, yep, just thank you guys for watching and thank you for your support. And I think we should probably start talking about the drawing again. Like, I know y'all just love to hear me yap, but you probably want to hear me yap about the actual drawing process. So I should probably do that. Can y'all tell I've been trying to practice backgrounds lately? Like, that's the biggest reason why I added a background to all these drawings, is because I've really been practicing, and not to brag, but gang, I think I'm improving. Not gonna lie, I'm really happy with how this background turned out. I mean, obviously it can be better, it can always get better, but for just a simple desert scene, I think it's pretty good. I've struggled with drawing deserts for like my entire art career, since I've had these characters since I ever picked up a pencil basically. So I've been, you know, drawing them for a long time, and deserts are always something I've struggled with. I don't know why, it's just never turned out good, and I really like how this one turned out. Oh, and I did forget to mention, for this editing style, it's just simply my screen recorded footage sped up 15 times. So let me know if you like this better or the last drawing better, like the editing style. I struggle a lot with knowing when to cut parts out of my drawing process, since these drawings take me a long time. If I had to guess, I'd say this drawing's around 4 hours. So even speeding it up a lot, it's still very long. I would love some tips on like which parts of the drawing process you don't really care to see, which parts you do. I just need to know, because I want to, you know, include more drawings in my videos, but it's really hard because I quite literally don't know how to cut down the footage. So this is what I've come up with. So please leave in the comments any tips you have for the editing and also which style overall you like better. It will really help me out because I'm trying new stuff and I just want to know what you guys like the best. Okay, now that I've talked to you guys about that, for my rendering process, I always duplicate the entire canvas and I merge it down into one layer on top of everything, and then I start to paint over all of the messiest parts. I love working in one layer because I feel so free being able to just move around my canvas whenever I want to change anything I want instead of having to mess with all of my layers. It's just more intuitive for me, and since I am a digital painter, I like to paint, so it's really helpful. I am jealous of the way people draw with like a million layers because it always turns out so good, but I don't know how you do it. I'm so bad at layer management, it's crazy. But this town was looking a little bit, not as detailed as I wanted it to be, so I added some of these wind towers, I think is what they're called. I don't know. I imagine that they are put all over the dome to help, bring some air circulation to the inside so it doesn't get all crusty and stale in there, Anyway, I was thinking the background looked a little bit too low contrast, so I added some of these darker areas around the different sections of the background, like where the hills or dunes were. It just helps to give some nice separation between all the different layers in the background. And with that, I just finished up some rendering, and here is my final drawing. I know I say this about all of my drawings, but I think it turned out pretty good. But that's just what I think, so let me know what you think. And let's move on to our final drawing, or drawings. And for our next and final challenge, we have making a comic. I know this seems like really difficult, and it was, but that's why it's a challenge, I'm sure you have little scenarios in your head of little situations your characters would get themselves in. I have it too, but for the longest time, they were just stuck in my head. So I decided I should probably just draw one of my ideas, and it was a lot of fun. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a lot of work, and this one definitely took the longest out of all of them, but it was just so much fun, and honestly, I'm really happy I did it. It always seems super daunting till you start, and then you just get sucked into it and want to finish it immediately. So I recommend you guys try this one out too. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I really love how Lauren's outfit turned out in the last piece, so I decided to base this comic around that outfit, but like later on in the story where they have to go like back to the desert, So this is just a little comic, explaining that situation where Lauren and Hezzy and the rest of the gang are ready to go back to the desert, but Hezzy's not quite sure about it. And that was the basic premise behind my comic, which is literally just a front so I could draw Lauren's outfit again. And also draw Lauren and Hezzy hugging because they're adorable and I don't really draw them interacting that much, so I wanted to do that too. And obviously for this editing style, it is just my Clip Studio time-lapse sped up a little bit, and that's it. The styles of editing is super good because it's faster. I don't have to do as much work on my end, and you don't get all that really hard to watch canvas flipping and zooming in and out because for some reason, I don't really think about how the recording's gonna look when I'm actually drawing, so this skips all those issues, but to me, it looks kind of boring. Like, I like being able to show you guys like where my brush is and my colors I'm using and my layers and all that. But this is a lot cleaner, so if you like this style, please let me know. It's kind of the one I'm leaning the furthest away from, even though it's a less work on my part. I don't know. I like showing you guys everything. Anyway, all the text here is very simple. I am not good at writing, so please don't judge me for the writing of this comic. It's probably not the best. In these late stages of my comic, I realized I really didn't like the anatomy of most of my sketches. So this is your warning, guys. Please make a completely detailed sketch and make sure that's exactly how you want the final piece to look. So then you don't have to do what I did and like liquefy and re-render these panels to oblivion because I didn't do my sketch right. It's way easier if you just sketch it right the first time and don't have to clean it up. But I bet you guys can tell I'm not the best at thinking ahead. So I don't really think about that. Anyway, the panel I struggled with the most was probably either the one where they're hugging like with Lauren's face or where they're hugging with Hezzy's face facing us, you know? Anyway, here's the final comic and I'll just show it to you while I'm doing my outro. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I had a blast putting it together, like always. I really love making these videos, even if not many people see them. I just have fun doing it. So I'm glad that you guys have fun watching them, or some of you have fun watching them. It's really nice to me knowing that some people like to watch my videos. But anyway, I know this video was late, guys. I missed my upload last weekend, but school was very busy and I was hanging out with my friends and, you know, homecoming, all that homework, so much homework. So this video is being posted a little bit later. I do ask for your grace on that. But with all that being said, thank you for the millionth time for watching, and I love you guys, and see you definitely not next weekend, but maybe next weekend if I can get a video done. I don't know. You know how it is, school and all that. So see you next time, guys. Bye bye.